much would Mario make from all of his jobs? Mario is a jack of all trades, master of hopefully at least one, as he is a medical professional. And that piqued my interest, because if this stout Italian can do this many things professionally, then he's got to have racked up some serious cash. Which introduces the first question: how many jobs does Mario actually have? This question is a bit more complicated than it might sound, largely due to one category: sports. Mario has been included in 30.5 sports games, including 6 Olympics. For comparison, Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympic athlete in history, who qualified for his first Olympics when he was 15, only competed in 5. Plus the other sports games overlap, and it's unclear which he actually does professionally. So I've decided to make it simple. If it gets its own game, then he does it professionally. I will also only be giving him the salary of a single Olympian, despite the fact that he somehow managed to qualify for every event. I also won't be counting implied careers, such as kart racetrack manager, because there are a bunch of courses labeled Mario Circuit. So that gives us a list of 16 careers that Mario has had in the last 42 years. Realistically, it's 17, but I opted to include soccer as part of the Olympics. I'll be taking the average yearly salary of each of these jobs in the US, multiplying them by how many years Mario's been doing them, aka how long the series has lasted, and adding them all together. All of the averages will be taken from Google. If you have a problem, take it up with them. And I will not be worrying about taxes, because the Mushroom Kingdom is actually a libertarian monarchy under the reign of Princess Peach. Taxation is theft. The market will adjust. No more licenses to drive carts. What's next? Requiring a license to make toast in your own damn toaster. So let's start with his lowest paying job: tennis umpire. Mario is featured as the umpire in the game Tennis for the NES. A low-level tennis umpire makes about $30,000 a year. So for a single year, Mario made $30,000 from this. Baseball player. Shockingly, the average baseball player only makes about $38,000 a year. You'll see this quite a bit with jobs that are really hit or miss. You either make buku bucks or you live on the streets, so they tend to average out lower than you'd think. Mario began his baseball journey in 2005 with Mario Superstar Baseball, which only received one sequel, Mario Super Sluggers, in 2008, which is probably one of the best games for the Wii. Despite this, Mario had a less than stellar 3-year run as a pro baseball player, earning him $114,000. Kart driver. That's right, Mario's most successful franchise is also one of his lowest paying jobs, because even Mario is not immune to the capitalist idea of separating the worker from his profits. The first Mario Kart released in 1992 for the SNES, across a career that spans 31 years, and probably growing, but I don't know, we've been on 8 alone for almost 10 years now. The average salary for a professional kart racer is $39,489. Over a 31-year career, this would make him a total of $1,224,066. Tennis player. Yes, along with being a tennis official, Mario's also a tennis player. Now, you might think that Mario's first tennis experience was Mario Tennis for the N64 in 2000, but it was actually Mario's Tennis for the Virtual Boy. That apostrophe S is doing a lot of work there, meaning that Mario's tennis journey has stretched 28 years. The average tennis player in the US makes an average of $39,500, 11 more dollars than the average kart racer, meaning that Mario has pulled $1,106,000 over his career. Golfer. Mario's golf career began in 1987 with NES Open Tournament Golf for the NES and spans 9 games. The average yearly salary of a golfer is $40,500. With a career lasting 36 years, that puts him at $1,458,000. Construction worker. Mario's career as a construction worker is relatively recent, beginning in 2015 with the first Mario Maker. You could make the argument that the first game where he really kinda acts like a construction worker is the story mode of the second game, but I really like the first one, so I'm counting it. The average construction worker in the US also makes $40,500, which gives us $324,000 for all 8 years. Boxing referee. Mario had a brief stint as a boxing ref in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and he clearly wasn't very good, as he was phased out almost immediately. Super Punch-Out literally opted to not have a ref instead of hiring Mario back. However, between Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out, there was a 7-year-long stretch that we do have to count as part of his career. The average salary of a boxing ref is $43,865. Across 7 years, that nets him $307,055. Painter. Mario was a painter for a single year. In 1992, Mario Paint released for the NES and never saw a sequel. Even Mario cannot escape the fate of the average art major. Assuming he somehow managed to make any money, the average salary of a painter is $45,500. Actor. This job is very based on a technicality. There is no Mario's Acting Academy for the Virtual Boy, but what there is a game called Super Mario Bros. 3 in 1988. By looking at shadows, bolts on platforms, and the fact that every level seems to end with Mario running off stage, fans began to theorize that the entirety of Mario 3 is just a stage play. And in 2015, this was confirmed by Shigeru Miyamoto on Twitter, meaning that Mario is technically an actor and should be billed as such. Super Mario World was released in 1990, so for 2 glorious years, Mario was the star of the stage. The average actor in the US, again according to Google, makes $54,000. So for those 2 years, he made $108,000. Soldier. That's right, Mario has served his country. Which one? Don't ask. I'm kidding. He served the US in Vietnam. Mario's bombs away for the Game & Watch, where Mario is tasked with carrying bombs through the jungle while enemy combatants rain fire from the trees. The Game & Watch games are a bit hard to judge since they don't release for a separate console, so I'm just gonna say he did one tour or 1 year, meaning he was paid $57,000. Dancer? This one's pretty contentious on whether or not he technically did it professionally, but if he can repair a building with the power of dance, I hope he got paid for it at some point. Like his painting career, Mario's dancing journey only lasted a single year. Even Mario cannot escape the fate of the average dance major. At any rate, the average dancer makes $61,000 a year according to Google. Plumber. Finally, we've made it to Mario's most famous profession, which is a little bit weird because in 2017 it was announced that he wasn't a plumber anymore, but in Mario Odyssey they call him a plumber, which released in 2018. So I guess he took like a 1-year hiatus. But other than that, Mario's been a plumber for the last 40 years since the release of Mario Bros. Not Super Mario Bros, they are different. The average plumber in the US makes $63,500. Over 39 years, that would have netted Mario $2,476,500. Carpenter. I think people often forget that Mario performed his first job under a pseudonym as a carpenter. A lot of people know that Mario's first appearance was as a character named Jumpman in the arcade title Donkey Kong, released in 1981. But during all of this, he was not a plumber, he was a carpenter. There were 2 years between the release of Donkey Kong and Mario Bros. The average salary of a carpenter is $63,500, meaning that Mario made $127,000. Olympian. As I said, he's only getting the paycheck of a single Olympian, despite the fact that him and every other character from Mario and Sonic are uncontested demigods. The average Olympian actually makes less than you think, as the Olympics themselves don't pay that much. Most of an Olympian's money comes from sponsorships from other companies, especially in the years between the Olympics. The average Olympian is paid about $77,300. The first game released in 2007, meaning Mario's been an Olympian for 16 years, making his payout $1,236,800. NBA player. This one is a bit of me making a judgment call, as the game it comes from is explicitly not professional basketball, and I'm putting it at number 2 because that makes it kinda cheating. NBA Street V3 is a very funny game because you can make LeBron James play D on Princess Peach. If Mario can keep up with LeBron and Shaq, then he's gotta be worth at least 1 paycheck, meaning that Mario will make, holy shit, $9.3 million. Doctor. As you expected, Mario's highest paying job, with the exception of the NBA thing, is being a doctor. The first Dr. Mario game released in 1990 for the SNES. The average doctor in the US makes $294,000 a year, meaning that Mario has made $9,702,000, aka slightly more than a single year in the NBA. So in his 42-year career, Mario has made a total of $27,678,191 before taxes. But just for fun, let's say Mario somehow manages to do all of this, work all of these jobs in a single year. How much would that be? I'll exclude the NBA thing. In a single year with all of these jobs, Mario would make a total of $942,154. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing. I do this weekly, and click here to watch a video where I ask if Mario Odyssey is a retelling of the Odyssey.